The NBA season is tipping off tonight. Israel Gutierrez is very excited. He's the only one who cares about the NBA in October. I mean, usually people don't start caring about this thing until Christmas Day, basically, or really after the football season. When do people really start caring about the NBA? By the way, Chris Long will join us in hour 2. We'll get to the football games. We're going to do some NBA here. Shams is going to join us later this hour. The NBA does tip off tonight. There is a doubleheader. When do most people get excited about the NBA? Is it right after Christmas, Christmas Day, after Christmas, after the football season? For me, it's when the playoffs start.
I was going to say, it's certainly not now when you're like, don't worry, audience. We'll get to football in a second, but we got to do some NBA first. Yeah, no, I think for folks like you, it's definitely April, mid-April. I think what happens is you check in on Christmas. You get a sort of taste of, hey, what's going on here? Right. Oh, LeBron and Luka are doing this. All right, let's watch one game. Wow, what a game on Christmas. And then you check out again until after the NFL playoffs. Now, the NBA is not going to want to hear this, so hopefully they're not subscribed yet. But that's basically what happens. For me, I'm pretty excited, but maybe you should have started with the question of just how excited I am, because it's on a scale of 1 to 10, it's like a 4.
Right. Well, why a 4? Because you're a legendary NBA reporter. The NBA is your favorite sport. You have covered the NBA forever. Why is it just a 4 on opening night? Is it because football's going on and college football? There's so much going on in the world of sports. Is that the reason? Or it's just, 4 teams playing, and no one's got to win, no one's got to lose. The season hasn't started. Therefore, even Israel Gutierrez, who loves this thing more than anyone I know, is at a 4 on a scale of 10 in terms of excitement.
I will say for tonight, I'm at about a 9. Okay, just for tonight. But for the start of the season, I'm at about a 4. And here's the problem. Like, Oklahoma City, not the most exciting champion of all time, right?
They're a boring champion, a bad champion for the NBA. I mean, no one wants that team to be a team that's going to dominate the NBA. And he's a bad superstar. I realize he's the best player in the sport right now.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Yeah, but SGA is a bad superstar. You do not want your superstar taking elbow jumpers. That is not what you want. You want a superstar who's got some lift, who can get off the floor, who could throw it down in someone's face. I'm certain SGA has done that before. I just don't recall seeing it, because all I recall seeing is him pulling up for a little baby elbow jumper. That's it.
Yeah. Hey, Siri, show me all of Michael Jordan's mid-range jump shots, because he hit a lot of them.
Did. Look, but he sprinkled in a couple of dunks.
He did sprinkle in a couple of dunks, and that's Stu's take. It's not mine. But in terms of excitement, like I don't think they're a bad champion. I don't think there's such thing as a bad champion. In fact, I'm watching season 2 of The Starting Five on Netflix, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander might be the perfect superstar in terms of like, hey, I want my kid to be like that.
Right.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander might be that guy. But in terms of like tuning in to watch him, even on Starting Five, his storyline is my least interesting one. It's the least interesting one. So I think, I don't think it's a lot of people are tuning in to watch. It's not must-watch TV the way the Warriors were, in 17, 18, 19.
This narrative around this Thunder team, it's gotten out of control, because if you just pick them up and put them in New York, they would be the most celebrated team of all time. The parades would go crazy. Kids would be lining up to get SGA jerseys.
Right.
SGA is averaging 32 points per game. He was the leading scorer in the NBA last year, and we're saying it's boring just because he plays in Oklahoma City.
It's a boring 32 points per game. It's 2 points at a time. I mean, that's. I mean, he doesn't hit threes. He doesn't dunk. It's just boring. That's all.
Taylor,
I'm not saying he's not a great player, Taylor.
Oh yeah,
I am not saying that by any stretch. He's a great player. He's an MVP. He's an NBA champion. He's just boring. That's all.
Well, when you watch hang on, Taylor, because when you watch the broadcast, now maybe this is the broadcaster's fault. I'm not sure, but when they sort of talk about him, praise him, it's basically just the most like mundane. Oh, look at that space he creates with that push. I'm just like, what? Like, give me like a hand, give me a crossover, left to right, inside out, something fool the defender, wrap the ball around his waist. Wow, Chris Webber did that one time. It was crazy. Like, just do something.
If SGA was a Laker, a Knick, or even like a Bull, we would not be having this conversation right now.
Well, yeah, because if he was a Laker, he wouldn't be allowed to be this. It would be, hey, LeBron, you first, and then him second.
Right.
This is what happened. And when he got traded, he was playing on a team that would have had Kawhi Leonard and then Paul George, and it's just like he said to himself, we're going to be the best team in the league. But then he got traded and he was like, I'm not upset about this. I can do my thing over there. There's nobody above me. And so when you unleash a talent like him and give him that opportunity, this is the best case scenario. A lot of teams are scared to do that, right? So he did it. He's become this superstar. I don't know, like I said, if he would have been allowed to do that in other spots. Like even if he went to New York, would he be allowed to touch the ball as often as Jalen Brunson? Would Jalen, timing wise, you know what I mean?
He'd be Jalen Brunson essentially, right?
Right. Yeah. So I think I agree with you. Yes, it would be beloved in New York. The whole nation would maybe like them a little bit more, but I think really the rest of the nation would say, "Man, those Knicks are boring. Shut up, Knicks fans."
Yeah, no, I agree, Taylor. The reason he'd be accepted in New York, and you're right about this, he would lead the NBA in jersey sales. I'm not certain he's not, by the way. I have no idea where he's at in terms of jersey sales in the NBA. But New York is so starved for a good team, for a championship team in that sport in particular, that of course, whatever it is he's doing in Oklahoma City, it would stand to reason that's going to work in New York City, if indeed he ended up there. He's not. He's in Oklahoma City, by the way. But the Lakers, no way. Like, I'm with Izzy on that. I'm not certain he'd be allowed to be the SGA that he is right now if he's playing alongside LeBron or if he's playing alongside Luka,
From last season, the most sold NBA jersey was, of course, Luka's Laker jersey.
Really?
But I say that to
Double
say,
XLs? I mean,
you don't have to buy the size that the player wears, right?
I thought it only comes in the size that the player wears.
No, people walking around in size 16 Reeboks because of Shaq.
I'm walking around in a tight SGA jersey. Lucas is the only jersey that fits. I mean.
Can we get Stu a slim fitting SGA jersey, please? That would be amazing.
Oh my God.
But they are the overwhelming favorite.
I know.
Right. And the only reason why I am excited, though, is because we are in a different era of the NBA. We're in the era where predictability has gone out the window. So I'm kind of hoping that stays true this year and we get, a little bit more challenging, a bit more of a challenger to Oklahoma City, because things aren't going to start off great. Jalen Williams not really healthy. They might not have that same fire early on. And if things don't go right at the beginning, a team like Houston could overtake them and feel like, they could win it all. So as much as I dislike the fact that they are overwhelming favorites, it makes me feel like there's no chance they're going to repeat.
Right. If there's a team not named Oklahoma City, Izzy, that's going to win the NBA title, which team has the best chance of doing that? If it's not Oklahoma City, it's going to be whom?
Denver.
Really?
I mean, to me, the changes that they made were exactly the type of changes that they needed, because they were frustrated with MPJ, and you bring in just a lot more solid of a human being and a player in Cam Johnson. And so just a lot more reliable. Frankly, probably going to be a better shooter for you if you give him that type of space, because he was a great shooter on, not so great teams. I mean, Phoenix team was pretty good, but I just think that they're best suited. I think they have probably still the most unstoppable force in the game in Jokic. I think SGA is right behind him in terms of defending a guy, but I think Denver probably wins, or Jokic is second.
Two boring superstars. Anyway, go ahead.
So this is similar to Izzy's Chiefs take, where he's going out on a limb here. The Nuggets have the second best odds on FanDuel, plus 6.
Wow, look at me.
Wow,
that just means that I'm in touch with the people's basketball's opinions. Like,
right.
If I am calling it, that means most people agree with me.
But in the NBA, more so than in any other sport, right? You would agree that the team that's supposed to win it usually wins it, right?
Yeah, well, it had been the case, but not recently.
Sure.
And then, you get seasons where a major injury happens, like Toronto beating Golden State, and you never really know, because obviously if Shea gets hurt, I mean, that's lights out for that team. They're not winning it again. I will say, though, the reason I'm excited for tonight is because my favorite team in the NBA is playing, and that's the Houston Rockets. And Stu,
you love that team. That team is deep. They are young. They are talented. That team is very, very good, man.
We're going to be at odds this year, you and I, because I will be cheering my ass off for Kevin Durant, and you are you're better off if he never wins another one, right? I'm sorry. Never wins his first in your personal record book, right?
I don't know. I was trying to think that if Kevin Durant and the Rockets were to win a title this year, if that would count as a title in my personal record book. I don't care what anyone tells me about the 2 Golden State titles. Those don't count. That team did not need them. They were laughing when Kevin Durant agreed to become a Golden State Warrior. They're like, what are you doing? Why are you coming here? You almost beat us in the Western Conference Finals. Let's run it back. They were laughing. No one was more shocked than Draymond Green. Kevin
Stugotz is reporting this, by the way. This has not been written anywhere else that they were laughing. It's like, ha, look at him. He's coming to us.
I am doing this before we have the ultimate NBA reporter on because he will debunk all of these theories if I throw them out there. So I have to be reckless now. I can't be reckless when Shams
gets there.
I'm trying to think if I give Durant the title. Taylor, if Durant, I know you agree with me on my Golden State take. Izzy doesn't. But if Durant wins a title with the Rockets, should I give him his first NBA championship ring in my personal record book? I think he's deserving of it. I do.
If he wins with this Rocket team, especially after the Fred VanVleet injury, I do think it's worthy of a ring.
Because he's a piece that put him over the top, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he gets a ring. So he's playing for a ring. Congratulations, Kevin Durant. There is a lot at stake for you this season, my friend.
I'm not really giving you a hard time about it, but what was Fred's name there, Taylor?
Fred VanVleet.
Oh, okay. Some people like to. He said Fred VanVleet, which is a perfectly reasonable.
I know it's FVV.
Yeah, it's MPV. It's hard to say. If you don't say it regularly, you do want to say Fleet sometimes. But no, the Rockets are my favorite team because Amen Thompson's my favorite player in the NBA. His twin is somewhere in the top 10.
Not boring. I mean,
not boring. Not boring at all. And I think that guy's going to be maybe third team NBA this season. He's going to be that good. And that team's just going to, they're starting because of Fred VanVleet's injury. They're starting 5 guys 6'7" or taller. The Amen Thompson at point guard era has begun. Crazy. And he's like Magic Johnson if he went to Mars and got alien blood and came back. That's how ridiculous that could be with basically Kevin Durant as your shooting guard.
So Taylor, how many teams do you think Izzy would have to list? When I say give me a team that could win an NBA title this year, not named Oklahoma City, how many teams does he run through before he gets to the New York Knicks?
Ooh, that's a good question, Taylor. How many do you think?
Or an Eastern Conference team for that matter, because he hasn't named one yet. We realize that Tatum's out, so that's going to hurt the Celtics' chances, obviously. But that opens up the door for some other teams in the East to kind of make a run here and take on either Denver or, let's say, Oklahoma City in the NBA Finals.
I think there's a clear 4 in terms of title odds. It's the Thunder, it's the Nuggets, and then it's hard to just keep stacking West teams in title odds because a team from the East has to make it. So then I think that's when you go Cavs, Knicks, and then there's just a bunch of teams in the West that are kind of lumped together. The Rockets, the Timberwolves, all the teams like that.
All right, Stu, how do you want me to do it? Do you want me to go teams that could win an NBA title, or do you want me to go Eastern Conference teams that could make the finals and see how far down the list the Knicks are on that list?
Let's do teams that could win an NBA title.
Okay,
let's
good.
do it that way. Okay.
All right, so outside of which 2? You said outside of Oklahoma City and outside of Denver.
Denver.
I'm assuming you think Houston has a chance at winning an NBA title.
I think Houston absolutely has a chance at winning an NBA title. I think if they play their cards correctly, maybe make a move or two to not rely on him too much, I think the Dallas Mavericks with Kyrie Irving could actually make a run at a title. I think they're probably last on my list here.
Okay.
And I think the Knicks are next on my list.
Really?
I think you mentioned. Well,
hold on. Let's do it this way, Izzy.
Houston counts already.
Let's do it this way, okay? So Oklahoma City, definite yes. Rockets, yes. Nuggets, yes. Who was the 4th team you just said?
It was the Mavericks if they make a move.
Mavericks, if they make a move.
If they do, because you can't rely on Kyrie. You can't say Kyrie Irving's coming back. We're going to get Kyrie Irving.
Understand.
You don't even know, right? So you get Cooper Flag at point guard. You're like, hey, maybe that's the new thing, right? A 6'7", 6'8" point guard who, is crazy versatile. But yeah, that's the Dallas Mavericks if they make a move, which means they're last on my list.
All right, I'm just going through the West right now. Let's rule out some teams. Golden State, do they have any chance?
No. I'm sorry, Steph. I mean, Steph gives them a chance, but no.
You don't need to apologize to Steph. It's okay.
I do. I feel bad. I also want to apologize to Anthony Edwards because I don't think the Timberwolves have a chance.
Okay, so Timberwolves, no chance. That's surprising. Anthony Edwards says he wants to be the MVP. Okay, we'll go be the MVP. How about the Clippers?
I mean, you saw the Pablo Torre episode. There's no chance the world is going to allow them to win a championship this year.
I didn't see any of Pablo's episode, with all due respect to Pablo. And I didn't see any of it because I just don't care about that shit. I don't. Okay, so how about San Antonio?
There's nobody left. San Antonio is not going to win it this year. Okay, so there's not. Portland's going to be a nice little team, but they're not.
All right, nice little team. I don't care. We're not playing a game of nice little teams here. We're playing a game of who can win a title and who can't.
Different game.
Yeah, different game. Nice little.
All right, you ready for the Eastern Conference?
Nice little team, though.
Orlando Magic, nice little team.
Yeah, nice little team. Yeah.
It also might be the Knicks opponent in the Eastern Conference Finals because I've got the Knicks going to the finals. I got Knicks Nuggets.
Really?
Yeah.
You have the Knicks making the NBA Finals?
Yeah, it's weird because they just got a new coach, and it's just hard to imagine that they make that switch. But I mean, Golden State Warriors made a switch with a new coach and won a championship that year. So I think this might be the Knicks' year.
We'll take it.
Just to get to the finals, by the way. That's all they're going to do.
We'll take getting to the NBA Finals. Okay, we will. It's interesting, Izzy, and we'll get to Shams here in just a minute. For the first time in a long time, and credit to Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra and the Arrisons and that entire organization for making that organization as relevant as they've been for as long as they've been. But for the first time that I can recall in a long time, people are not talking about the Heat coming out of the East in the NBA. They're not talking about the Heat at all in the NBA.
Right.
And I can't remember the last time that happened with Miami.
No, the only thing people are talking about is Kendrick Perkins saying his gut tells him Bam won't be on the Heat at the end of the year.
Yes. I have to ask that to Shams, by the way. I have to ask him how he feels about someone just reporting stuff with his gut, because I love it. I love K. Perk. That's my guy.
I think the Heat are very much, I wouldn't say victims, but just an example of the current collective bargaining agreement doing its thing. Like, if you even think back to the Jimmy Butler deal, that felt like a miracle. Like, they got that done despite not having any space. And so they were still working within the little loopholes that they can. Those loopholes are really small these days, if impossible to fit through. And so they're just adjusting to life as, wow, we can't just go hook that whale whenever we want to and finish off the deal here. So they're readjusting the way they do things. And this year probably is going to be pretty crucial. Like Norm Powell, Tyler Hero, and even Bam Adebayo are all potential tradable pieces if things go south early on. It could be the final, decision that just says, final piece that makes them make the decision that says, hey, we've got to rebuild from the floor. We can't really utilize you guys right now.
Stu, I have two options for you to see really how excited you are about the NBA being back. So the two options are, which one are you more excited is back? Option A, the NBA, back tonight.
Right.
Option B, Brandon Graham is coming out of retirement and he's signing with the Philadelphia Eagles.
What?
Is that like happening tonight? Is there some sort of
no? Brandon Graham is just back.
The B in Brandon stands for back.
We got the one and only Shams Charania on Stugotz and Company. Shams, NBA season starting up, but where Stu wants to start is, what does an NFL Sunday look like for you, especially before the NBA season really starts, when you can still kind of consume as much football as you want, if you're even interested in it?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy because I obviously, it's hard not to live in America and consume football to some degree, right? But I feel like once the NBA season starts, my fantasy football team, like right now, I think I'm 5-1 or 6-1 or how many ever weeks are. I've only lost once. I think I'm supposed to win this week.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'm not jinxing it.
Right.
I'm supposed to win
this week. It's about to fall apart though, right?
What happens is every year I start off really, really strong. I'm like 4-1, 5-1, 6-1. And then the amount that I just completely plateau is, and people are like, people in the league are like, just let your brother handle it. Like, let your brother, or let a family member do it. But I'm like, no, I'm going to be the one. But, no, I mean, I consume it, but I'm always, of the mindset, like Sunday's an NFL day, but yesterday I wake up and Kevin Durant's getting extended and there were some extensions going on. So yesterday, breaking Kevin Durant on NFL Sunday, then went on SportsCenter to talk about it. So it's always good when the NBA can sprinkle in some news on an NFL Sunday.
The rest of your league is saying, hey, don't worry about the 5-1 start. The NBA season starts soon.
Yeah, I'm excited.
He's the Miami
I'm
Dolphins of his fantasy football league. By the time December comes, you don't got to worry about him. Shams, you mentioned the KD extension. I'm super excited about Houston. I was a big Thompson twins guy, and Amen is just so amazing that I want to see him sort of flourish. And I think KD's such a great teammate for him. I'm curious what that extension does for Houston. Do they feel like right now they are a championship contender? Do they feel like they have a very small window, and that's why they went with, at least with Kevin Durant, and that's why they went with the extension now? How does Kevin Durant feel about all this?
Definitely that trade for Kevin Durant was to maximize the window of winning a championship right now. And whether that window is 3 years with Kevin Durant's current contract. Now, you never know how he's going to perform in 2-3 years. If he's at the same level, then obviously as long as Kevin Durant's on your roster, you're obviously aiming for a championship. And I think that's what Houston understood when they went all in for Kevin Durant, got him at the price tag that they did with Jalen Green, as well as Dylan Brooks, Kaman Maluak, who ended up being the number 10 overall pick, couple of second-round picks as well. So I think Houston is of that mindset. Fred VanVleet tearing his ACL, likely out for the season. I'm sure knowing Fred VanVleet the way I do, I've covered him his whole career. He's a tough player. I'm sure in his mind, he's coming back at some point in March, April. But an ACL in September, it's going to be a very uphill climb for him to try to make it back for the season. But you still have Amen Thompson. Reed Shepherd looked good to finish out the preseason. So anytime you have Kevin Durant, and he ends up taking $30 million less than his max contract, he knew when he chose Houston as a trade destination, or even if he went to San Antonio or Miami, you're taking less money, especially in this second apron era.
I know these are all news items to you, but what was the one that came across your phone during the offseason that you were like, whoa, made you stop, made you think? You were like, wow, that's interesting.
I had a couple. One was definitely Miles Turner, Damian Lillard, that whole situation when Dame got, I remember that morning, it was the second full day of NBA free agency. I think it was July 2nd. Maybe it was July 1 or July 2nd. Either way, it was like the second full day of free agency. And I remember where I was in my hotel room in Bristol, and I got word that Dame was going to be stretched and waived. And that part stunned me. And then I got double stunned when I heard that it was for Miles Turner. And so that definitely was an all-in move by John Horst and that Bucks organization. And then the other move, a couple moves, Desmond Bane going to Orlando. I think the end of that Memphis trio of Ja Morant, Dez, and Jaren Jackson Jr., I think that caught a lot of people by surprise. But Orlando going all in. They gave up a steep price, multiple first-round picks and swaps and things like that to go get Desmond Bane. That was an all-in move for that organization around Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner. So that move. And then I think some other things that went under the radar, I think Denver, what they were able to do, getting Tim Hardaway Jr., Jonas Valanciunas, Cam Johnson, those moves to add depth to that organization, and obviously around Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray looks really, really good in preseason so far, which should be a great sign for Denver. And then getting Bruce Brown Jr. back as well, that was another one. So I think from most surprising to under the radar interesting moves, I think those are the three for me.
Izzy smiled at the same time I did. Was it the double stun, the rare double stun?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what that looks like when you get double stuck. Because I'm a pacer. If I'm on the phone and the big news, I'm going back and forth. Are you furious on the computer? Are you jumping in the bed and doing some sort of snow angels? What's happening when you're double
No.
stuck?
I'm in a frantic state of mind because I'm thinking about what are the ramifications of this? What does that mean for this? And I feel like I'm always thinking 3-4 things. What does this mean for this? And then now, it's getting stories ready, getting making sure I don't have typos, all these things that are going through my mind. But I'm always thinking what's the next thing? What does this mean for this? What does this mean for that? And I think, but for Milwaukee overall to do that, it just lets you know where they're at as an organization. And we've seen what they've done in the offseason, the signings that they've made. And so it shows you kind of a glimpse into they're all in right now.
Shams, I'm a massive Knicks fan, and I already don't know what to do with my Malcolm Brogdon jersey with him retiring.
We were so excited about that move. Shams, we were like, wow.
He was supposed to be the backup point guard for the Knicks this season. Yeah.
Did that retirement catch you off guard? And what do you think the Knicks are feeling with their roster as we enter this season?
Shocked. I think everyone in the league was shocked. The Knicks, when they heard from Malcolm Brogdon that day, they were shocked. I was told he was contemplating it for a period of time, at least a couple weeks. Like, that was in the back of his mind. You know, as a player of Malcolm Brogdon, anyone that's covered him knows that he's this smart. You know, he thinks a lot about everything he does, his actions on and off the court. And so he's a deep-minded person overall. And so for him to feel that way, clearly in his mind, he knew, I just am not going to be able to give what I want to give on the court, off the court. But they were fully of the mindset that he was going to be on the team, that he was going to be the backup point guard. That's why they signed him. Him and Mike Brown had extensive conversations before he reached agreement on this deal. And so once he retires, they were looking at possible trades of back-end roster guys. At that point, they don't have to make those trades. They keep Landry Shamet for another year. Landry Shamet, beloved in that Knicks locker room. He's very close with a lot of those players. We know when he can get, he can eat up minutes for you in the regular season as well. Veteran, been around the league. So I think it's very clear it's championship or bust in New York. And depending on how they're faring, we'll see if different conversations that took place in the offseason are rekindled.
That actually was going to be my follow-up, because we've got, Malcolm Brogdon retirement can be somewhat shocking, but they still seem on pace. You mentioned Landry Shamet last year when Tibbs was kind of forced to bring in some bench players late, made a couple shots, got some people excited about that. Like, championship or bust is kind of wild for a team that just got rid of its head coach, isn't it? Like, that's got to be some weird dynamics going on in that organization.
Yeah, but if you're firing a coach that led you to your first Eastern Conference Finals in 25 years, I mean, there's only one other place that you're trying to get to. Obviously, it's the NBA Finals, and then from there, you want to win a championship. Now, again, if you make it to the NBA Finals, you lose to the Oklahoma City Thunder, hard to say that's a failure, but they are legitimately believing this is their championship window right now. This is what they've built this team for. This is what you build the depth for over the course of these last few years. You go all in for Mikal Bridges. You go get Cat on this team, and you surround them with the OG Anunobys of the world. Obviously, Jalen Brunson. You have a bench that you feel like has some pieces now with Jordan Clarkson and Deuce McBride. So they feel like they're primed. Obviously, the Cavs also, co-favorites in the East.
I'm looking at the NBA Finals odds on FanDuel right now. The Thunder, crazy odds, plus 200.
Man.
The next best team is the Nuggets at plus 700. Shams, could you make the argument that the Thunder could be even better this year?
I mean, I think they're going to be potentially better just for the simple fact I think all of their guys are going to be much improved this year. Now, again, J-Dub, Jalen Williams being out to start the season. We don't know when he's going to be back. That's going to throw a little bit of a question mark into their play and their season. But Chet Holmgren's back. J-Dub will be back at some point. And then from there, a lot of internal growth with this team. Shea wants more. J-Dub wants more. Chet obviously wants more. So I think this is going to be a hungry unit. This is not a team that's just going to be satisfied with one championship.
Is that the best run organization in the NBA, in your opinion?
You have to put them up there.
Right.
I think an argument could be made in all of sports. I said this during the NBA Finals. I don't think I believe, and I've talked to NBA teams about this, other executives around the league about this. The Thunder are the best positioned team in all of sports, not only from a current roster perspective, but you think about their draft their draft assets, their treasure chest of draft picks that they still have. They have dozens of first-round picks, dozens of swaps, dozens of second-round picks, and they've got a unit right now locked in, and like it's kind of scary. It's kind of scary. Yeah, that is a sentiment I get around the league. So whether that means that they're the best run or not best run,
right,
they're definitely best positioned.
Wow. Okay, I got another one where it's like an odd goal type of season for this team, the Dallas Mavericks. I think a lot of people think if Cooper Flag can play some point guard and really sort of bide some time there for Kyrie Irving to potentially get healthy, they might have something this year. What's the mentality of that team after the Luka trade?
Definitely, if you're making that deal, you're going all in with Anthony Davis. Again, it's you want to compete for a championship. You want to be there. They got to the NBA Finals already with Luka Doncic. The only best thing after that is winning a championship. That's why Nico Harrison felt and said he made that trade. He's a judge him on the results. And so I think that's where your mindset has to be. But again, the Kyrie Irving injury and the fact that he's going to miss time to start the year, a significant period of time, that does throw a question mark into it. How does he come back? How does he look when he's back as well? I am told he's doing very, very well. I think we're seeing the videos of him playing already one-on-one, and he looks good. And so I reported several months ago his goal was to be back at some point in January. We'll see if he reaches that goal, if it's going to be after that. But the Mavericks are going to be patient. He's going to have to be patient. But if he's back in January and he looks 80-90% of Kyrie Irving, I mean, their goal has to be trying to compete for a championship.
Kendrick Perkins said that he doesn't think Bam will finish the season as a member of the Miami Heat. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know if I want to get into a source off here.
Wow.
I'm going to go with you. I mean,
I was going to say, there's no.
I like Perk just shooting from the gut. I do. I like it.
I will just say I have not heard that. I think Bam Adebayo, everything he's shown is he's trying to be the franchise piece, the franchise face of this Heat organization, and that's all I've heard. And so maybe there's better sources out there.
Yeah, I love it.
Perkins listen, just so we're clear, his source is his gut. That's it. Yeah, and I respect him for that.
Big source.
I do.
I mean, listen, at some point, of course, Bam Adebayo wants to be part of winning. He's going to want this team to make moves and to win for sure. They trade for Norman Powell. We'll see when Tyler Hero gets back on the court. But with Eric Spoelstra, he's always going to get these guys to play higher than their capabilities sometimes. And I am curious to see how Bam looks this year as well. Will this be somewhat of a bounce back year for him too?
A Schefter versus Shams source-off would be a Netflix special.
I'd watch it. I would. I'd watch it. Over and over again in a loop. I would. I don't know how it would look. What do they do? Just throw down a source?
Those are my teammates now. Those are my teammates. I rock with Kendrick Perkins. I rock with Adam Schefter.
They show the source, but it's blurred out because you can't really see it.
We know you love them all, but that would be a great television moment, a source-off between you and Schefter, right? I mean, come on. That'd be great.
Shams, last thing here, because I've had PTSD from one time I left my phone in the car overnight, and that was the night that Stan Van Gundy decided to step down in favor of Pat Riley, and that was just a nightmare. Stu was talking about putting his phones away during a karaoke night in Tahoe, which made him very nervous. What's the longest you've had your phone away from you where you're just like getting really agitated, but you were okay with it?
I was never okay with it. No. I was never.
That's not a scenario.
I do remember. I'm not going to say which story it was, but I do remember I was with my family, and I was on a family trip, and I put my phone away. We were there for like 4 or 5 days. There was only a 20-minute period I didn't have my phone, where I literally wasn't looking at my phone or didn't have access to look at my phone. And in those 20, 25 minutes, something happened. Ruined mentally the rest of my trip, but
I'm not going to ask you to tell me this. Just tell me which year it was. Maybe I can figure out what deal it was.
Story so badly. I do.
It was within the last year. Maybe the next time I'm on, I'll share the story.
Right.
Okay. Was it a seismic story though? Or
it was a big story. It was
really?
A big story. Good. It was a big story.
We already locked them in for another appearance, too.
Yes.
Listen, yes. I'm locked in. I'll share it at some point. But
okay.
No, I mean, I feel like I'm as on my phone as anyone, obviously, and I think I get a bad rap because I think other people are also on their phones a lot. Right. But I love it. I enjoy it. I love what I do, and so it's something I live, eat, and breathe. So I love it.
Your phone is currency, man. I mean, the rest of us are wasting our times on our phone. Your phone is currency. That's how you make money. I mean, of course you have to be on it. It's crazy. If it makes you feel any better, Schefter once missed a big NFL report because he was taking NBA phone calls on our show.
Okay. All right. I mean, I would probably feel bad about that too if I'm, and I'm sure knowing Adam the way I do, I'm sure he was he must have been livid. I don't know how was he?
No, he was upset about it. He actually was upset. That's why I asked the size of the story. It doesn't matter, right, Sean? Because big or small, you would have been upset. Your vacation would have been ruined.
See, that's the thing. That's the thing. Yes. Like doing this, whether it's the grandest of grand stories or if it's a minimum contract, like you have to treat everything with the same levity. Obviously, you're going to focus more on the bigger stories, but I take every single side story very, very seriously. So I think that's what you got to do.
I love the idea of the NBA season starting and you starting running backs who are on a bye week.
That's literally what happens. That's literally what happens. I don't set my lineups. It's a mess. It's a mess.
We appreciate the time, buddy. We know it's a busy time. The number one information guy in the business. Shams, thank you so much. NBA season is upon us. We won't see Shams for like 10 months.
For Stugotz, I'll do anything.
Yeah,
you're the best.
I've heard that so many times. What is
Isn't it amazing? It's amazing.